Why were pigs put on trial like humans? Imagine you live in France. It is the 1400s. A crime has been committed. The victim is dead. The witnesses are ready. The judge enters the courtroom, and the defendant is a pig. Not a man named Pig, an actual pig. This happened more than once. In pre-modern Europe, animals were sometimes formally prosecuted for crimes. More than 200 animal trial cases have been documented, with pigs appearing particularly often. And these weren't always people angrily killing an animal that caused trouble. There could be a legal proceeding, charges, witnesses, a judgment, and occasionally a lawyer. Which raises an important question. What exactly was the pig's defense? To understand why this happened, you have to understand pigs. Today, pigs mostly live behind fences. Medieval pigs had considerably more freedom. They could wander through towns and streets. And pigs are big, strong, omnivorous, and extremely interested in finding food. This was not a great combination if you were a small child. Historical records contain cases of pigs attacking and killing humans, particularly children. Today, we'd probably ask, who owned the pig? Was the owner negligent? Was the animal dangerous? Medieval courts sometimes asked a different question. What should happen to the pig? And their answer was, court. One famous case occurred in France in 1379. Several pigs were implicated after a man was killed. Some pigs were accused of actually attacking him. Other pigs were accused of basically encouraging it. Yes, accessory pigs. The animals directly responsible were sentenced to death. But there was a problem. There were a lot of pigs involved, and pigs were valuable. So the monastery connected to the animals appealed for mercy for the ones that had merely been present, and the Duke of Burgundy pardoned them. Imagine explaining this to one of the pigs. Good news, your sentence has been commuted. Try to make better choices. But pigs weren't the only defendants. There were trials involving rats, insects, weevils, and other animals accused of damaging crops or property. Church courts could become involved in cases against pests, while secular courts handled animals accused of injuring people. And this created a slight procedural problem. Suppose you summon a group of rats to court. The rats don't come. Now what? One famous lawyer, Bartholomé Chassenée, became associated with arguments defending rats accused of destroying crops near Autun. One argument was essentially,
Your Honor, of course my clients couldn't appear in court. The journey here is simply too dangerous. There are cats everywhere.
Which is legally creative, also accurate. So why were people doing any of this? They weren't simply stupid. Their idea of law was different from ours. The medieval legal world was deeply connected to religion, morality, and ideas about cosmic order. When something disrupted that order, a violent animal, a crop-destroying pest, even something that couldn't understand a human law, the legal system could still be used to restore that order. The trial wasn't necessarily for the pig. It was for the humans watching. Something terrible happened. There had to be an explanation. There had to be responsibility. There had to be a judgment. We still do something surprisingly similar. When something goes badly wrong today, we don't just want it fixed. We ask, whose fault was it? Who should pay? Who should resign? Who should go to prison? Humans are deeply uncomfortable with events that have consequences, but no culprit. Medieval Europeans simply extended that need for responsibility much further, sometimes all the way to the barn. Eventually, European legal systems changed. Animals stopped being treated as criminal defendants. Today, if a dangerous animal harms someone, the law generally focuses on the humans responsible for controlling it and on public safety. The pig is not expected to understand criminal law, which feels obvious now. But that's what makes history strange. The people in the courtroom probably didn't wake up thinking, today we're going to do something ridiculous. They were following a system that made sense inside their world. A judge, a victim, a crime, a defendant. Everything looked completely normal, except the defendant was eating the evidence.